In the year 2000, David Goggins was a 300-pound, depressed and aimless 24-year-old who hated his life. But through years of discomfort and adversity, he became a Navy SEAL and an ultra runner, completing races of up to 240 miles and setting the world record for the most pull-ups in 24 hours with a respectable 4,030. But how could a man go from rock bottom to be one of the hardest men on the planet? Recently, I read Goggins' second book, Never Finished, and it's helped me construct a psychological framework consisting of 3 points for how to build discipline and become a better version of yourself. My name is Joel. I'm an 18-year-old psychology student trying to help people have better lives, and like everyone, I don't like doing hard things. I hate waking up early, I often don't want to exercise or study, and I really don't like leaving my comfort zone. But I realised 2 years ago that if you want to make things better in your life, you have to do difficult things that other people wouldn't do. And to do that, you have to have self-discipline.
You have to be your best self when you're least motivated. And that's the tricky part about all that shit. Motivation is just a word. You have to have these different things in your mind on where you want to go and know that motivation is not going to get me there.
Now, the first step I use to train my mind to be more disciplined is to set a clear goal or a vision for how I'd like my life to be. Without this, your brain will have nothing to strive for. We are biologically conditioned to strive for goals. Originally, the goal was to just survive and pass on our genes. But nowadays, we have to give ourselves goals to work towards. I want you to close your eyes right now and imagine how you'd like your life to be in 10 to 20 years. What are you doing? What kind of person are you? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Take some real time outside of this video to think about what it is that you want. Because it's so much easier when you have a clear idea of how you'd like your life to be. Your brain can coordinate the right thoughts and feelings to make sure you do the things that get you there. Goggins wanted to be the hardest man on the planet. And without that dream, he would never have transformed himself. I genuinely want to have a positive mark on the world and help people optimize their brains. And that mission is what drives me to do the things that sometimes I don't want to do. To go to the gym, to study, to film videos, to edit videos. It's those things that I have to do to get towards my goal. But if I didn't have the vision, if I didn't have the idea of where I wanted to be, then my brain would struggle to coordinate the necessary energy and focus for those things. Your goal may change. In fact, it probably will, but you must set a direction because that's the only way you will be able to persist when other people would quit. The second thing I've learned about building self-discipline is that you have to organize your mind. When you pack a bag or a suitcase, you need to place things in there in an organized manner. Otherwise, everything is a mess and you can't fit as much as you'd like or need in there. Your mind works in much the same way. If you fill your mind with bullshit content and never take the time to soothe your thoughts and your feelings, you spend countless hours numbing your brain, making your thoughts all foggy, there's going to be no space to build discipline. If you can't organize your mind, then you're not going to be able to organize your life.
Our minds are like a garage. And the garage, if you open a garage and it's all cluttered up, it's all up, you can't put your car in there. You got boats and you got kids' toys and shit everywhere. But if you organize the garage and you put everything in its rightful spot, you can pull that car in there. You can put 2 cars in there. You can put bikes in there. And that's like with the mind. People talk about discipline and determination and repetitions and all this shit. Consistency. Why people fall off the wagon so often is because their mind is full of shit. You gotta be able to find all these different things in your mind. Oh, I can put discipline right there. I can put consistency right there. I can put all these things right there in that spot.
This is why, as much as I can tend to discredit the importance of these activities, I need to sleep well. I need to journal and write down my thoughts every day. I need to meditate and I need to lift heavy weights because you know what? They clear my mind. They organize the mental garage so that I can focus on what's really important to me. How's your mental garage? Think about it, honestly. Are you filling it with shit? This is a question I have to ask myself very often because if the answer is yes, then tell yourself that. Honesty is the first step to changing things. And then you might realize that's why you can't be consistent with the things that you like to. And once you realize what the real problem is, then you can start working towards a solution. An organized mind is a disciplined mind. I've been playing wheelchair basketball for just over a decade, and every so often in training we run a drill that I'd like to use as an analogy in this video. Basically, my coach will set a couple of points around the key that we need to score from, and every time we score, we get a point. But The catch is, every time you miss, you lose a point. So for example, if you've hit 5 shots but missed 3, your count is still only 2. And this point system becomes more and more similar to discipline the older I get and the more experiences I have. Every time you do something that was difficult and that benefited you but you didn't really want to, you get a point. But every time you yield to that voice of resistance and ease into the comfort zone, you lose a point. That's how building discipline actually works. You have to get points on the board to try and stay above 0. When we see people that seem to practice discipline easily and can do things that we could never fathom about doing every single day, well, it's because they're so far above 0 that it's just part of their identity. It's just something that they do naturally. Discipline to them is just a way of life. And the thing is, you may be struggling to discipline yourself and do difficult things because you're so far below 0 that it feels like that threshold where you move into the positive numbers is so out of reach. But with time, if you organize your mind towards your vision, you'll find it easier to slowly trickle up your point tally each day. Every time you wake up early, every time you do that task on your task list, every time you go to the gym, you'll gain some points. And over time, it'll compound. And eventually, you'll breach that 0 mark. You'll go over and you'll start really getting some points on the board. I used to spend a whole lot of time eating shit food, playing video games, masturbating, and I was so far below 0. But I've taken the last 2 or 3 years to try and get points on the board, and I have to do it every single day to this day. But as each day passes, I get more points on the board, and I build more momentum. Now, I would usually end a video by asking you to watch another, but today, I want you to take time away from the screen, create a vision or a goal, organize your mind, and start getting some points on the board. So I'll see you when I see you.